Around 1 million Americans miss work each day because of stress. 94% of workers report feeling stressed at work. 63% of U.S. workers report that they are ready to quit their job to avoid the work-related stress that they are feeling. And around 33% of people in general are reporting feeling some extreme stress. Why are people so stressed out, bro? Like, what's happening out there?
Because we build our life around work, whether we realize it or not. A lot of people say, my family is most important. Not judging by your time card.
Welcome to the Good Life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. I got Kabi here in the building. Say what's up, Coach.
What up, dog?
Hey, that's great lung power. That's great lung power there, brother.
That, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where it's from. I was going to say something, but it's inappropriate, so I'm not going to say it anymore.
But either way, we're here, man. It's good to see you. It's good to have everybody with us here on another episode of The Good Life, guys. How's your week, man? How's your week going?
Great week, man. Great week. I just want to thank all my fellow Detroit, family members, friends, that I haven't even met yet. I know we will soon get together and something great will happen. It's been a hard season for us, us true Detroit fans. I just want to say, hold on tight. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine.
Once again, we will rise from the depths of mediocrity and summit the mountain of champions. Stand strong with Detroit.
Teach his own, man. Teach his own. Teach his own. We always shout out Detroit at the beginning of the beginning of our shows, but yeah, long live Detroit, right? The Motor City. Motor City. I don't know if we have anything special to say about Detroit today, but just know
nothing else needs to be said besides, it's a city of grit. It's where real hustlers, hard workers, grab your hard hat and your lunch pail when we go to work, true Americans. I feel like Detroit Lions should be America's team because it just shows, land of opportunity, hard work and dedication, and starting at the bottom but rising to the top in the future, not right now. We all know Detroit's still at the bottom, but that's okay. And, because it just shows the grit, the true American spirit, which is great. And, it'll take some people some time to catch on, but I like to start early, get on the train early, and shout out Detroit. Just a big fan.
Shout out Detroit and Jalen Rose and GM Motors and
the death of Jalen and Jacoby podcast, man.
No way.
Done.
That was your that was your vibe, man. That was your thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's sad, but
did they say why? Did they say why?
Well, not exactly why. All I know is Jacoby will no longer be with ESPN. I think he's moving on to bigger and better things, and wish him the best of luck. And listen, I just want to tell you right now, I love doing the show with you. But if Uncle Jalen calls me and said, "Hey, do you want to come co-host this Jalen and Khabib podcast with me?" I might be gone, bro. I might be gone. So I just want to put that out there.
It's all good. I'll give that to you, man. You can have it. You can have it. So if Uncle Jalen comes calling, by all means, man, I give you my blessing. I give you my blessing.
I appreciate that, man.
To continue to go. But tonight, guys, we got a good show for you. Let's dive into our 2x2.
2x2.
By the year 2030, researchers predict that colorectal cancer will be the leading cause in cancer deaths in people's age 20 to 49. Coach, what is your take on this? Talk to me.
I think this is extremely important for people to pay attention to, but I don't think it's one that should freak you out unless you haven't been doing the right things. We've talked about this quite a bit on this show. You know, I've spoken on numerous times on gut health. This falls obviously directly there. We're headed in a direction as a community, as a society, that is just really bad for our gut. High stress, which we'll talk about a little bit today. Low quality food, food that's low in fiber, food that's low in nutrition, food that's low in the things that our body actually is calling out for, and very high in the things that get us hooked, addicted on the foods that they want us to be hooked and addicted to. It's not leading in a good place. Our colons are basically like the sewage system. So we have all this food that's not traveling through our system well because it's been modified, whether it's from genetic modification, microplastics in water, hormones in meat, pesticides in fruits and veggies, or it's been modified in the cooking process itself, or it's modified before as we get there. I mean, there's a lot of, and then we add the stress component on top of that, where our body is consistently in the fight or flight or sympathetic state. And it's leading to a mess as it comes to our gut. And it's no surprise to me, because when you start talking about gut health, when you start talking about, you know, cleaning up your gut, resetting your gut, eating the right foods after you reset your gut, and maintaining this for a period of time, people are deer in the headlights. They either have never heard of it, don't want to hear about it, don't want anything to do with it. It's very unfortunate, man. This is not surprising to me at all. The screening age will continue to be lowered, and we will continue to have an issue because the things that we are doing are leading us down that route, and the things we need to do to turn around from that is just not happening.
I hear you, man, and glad you can speak from the kind of health side of this thing. From my standpoint, it's like, are we getting better in this cancer diagnosis, more people dying of cancer battle? I was just having this conversation. I think this conversation you and I have had also is like, where does all the money go for cancer research? Where does it go? Because I feel like people have been donating money to cancer research for decades now, Like, I don't know how far this goes back, but I feel like it's for a very long time. And it does not seem like we're getting better. It doesn't seem like there are answers or cures or fixes or like anything. When I hear news like this, when I read articles like this that say that, you know, in the next, you know, six to 7 years, this type of cancer will be one of the leading causes, or one of the leading cancers that cause death to 20 to 49-year-olds. I'm like, is this preventable? Is this something? Where's our money going? Where's people that donate? Where's the research? How? And again, I know, because again, working with you and spending time on the podcast and having conversations around these topics, I can understand that, like, this stuff starts in the gut, right? Like, again, all disease originates from the gut. But like, why are we not having this conversation instead of saying this is going to be a leading cause, or, you know, one of the top cancer deaths? Like, I feel like there's something missing. And obviously, being on the money side of things, I think a lot about the money, and I think a lot about where does the money actually go when people are funding this, you know, cancer research. I think there's a lot of work to be done, and these types of articles and this type of stuff just confuses me a bit more about like what's actually happening when people are donating to these research projects, or, you know, cancer research specifically, because it doesn't feel like things are getting better, in all honesty.
I think you're spot on. It is very important to your question about what is happening with the money when it comes to cancer. Let me give you a little bit, peel the curtain back a little bit. We, as in the U.S., spends about 97.5% of our healthcare budget on individual treatment and only 2.5% on prevention. Only 33% of people treated for cancer are actually cured. And of that 33%, 7% of them never develop another cancer. Do the math there as to how many that actually do develop another form of cancer. In the last 2 decades, the National Cancer Institute has spent over $60 billion of public money on research and treatment. Most cancer drugs launched in the last 10 years are priced at over $100,000 per patient per year. What's happening with the money? Where's the improvement? What's going on? Why so little spent on prevention? I just think these are the questions that when you start asking, you might lose your Instagram account.
And that's not what we want to do, because we want to continue to reach people. But this is important. The show is The Good Life. We want people to experience and design the life that they want in their health, in their wealth, in their happiness, in their mindset, and all the things. And these conversations, we need to have them because things aren't adding up. The math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing.
That's right.
The math ain't mathing, and we need to start talking about it. So, drop some comments, guys. Drop some comments. Leave us some messages. What have you seen? What have you heard? Where do you think we stand in this country on some of these topics like cancer research and those types of things? Be curious. Be curious to hear your thoughts on it. We'll probably put out a poll here, sometime soon to kind of talk about it. But again, this was just our 2x2, but a real important topic for us to talk about. But today's topic, we're talking about what are the health and wealth habits to decrease stress in your life? We know stress is running rampant in our society. Around 1 million Americans miss work each day because of stress. 1 million Americans a day are missing work because of stress. 94% of workers report feeling stressed at work. 94% of workers. That's 94%.
The 6% don't show up or they're high.
Right. Probably the latter of the two, right? 63% of U.S. workers report that they are ready to quit their job to avoid the work-related stress that they are feeling. And around 33% of people in general are reporting feeling some extreme stress. Why are people so stressed out, bro? Like, what's happening out there?
It's modern lifestyle. It's modern lifestyle. It's continuing to run on this treadmill, on this rat race. And it's not just about the money aspect of things, right? Obviously, that's forefront. Running, working to take care of the people we love, to take care of ourselves, right? To continue to pay for the things that we need to pay for on a monthly basis. Every 30 days, like everything renews every 30 days. That's how much you got every 30 days, right? Then everything else, that's like maybe at the center of what people think about, work and money. But everything else, because we build our life around work, whether we realize it or not. A lot of people say, my family is most important. Not judging by your time card.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Not judging by your time card. It's not. Right. So, and we all fall into this, myself included. It's like we build our life around work. So everything else fits in around work. The time we get to spend with the people that we love and fellowship, etc., fits in around work. The time we spent taking care of ourselves in terms of our health, watching what we eat, right? And most people eat out of convenience, out of boredom, out of cravings, right? We don't eat to live, we live to eat, right? And we're not moving. We're not living the way that we're supposed to be living. And this is I think the central message of a lot of folks in the health field. Like they eventually come to this point where it's like our lifestyle doesn't fit our engineering, our inner engineering and our outer engineering in terms of our hardware is not meant to be doing what we're doing.
Right.
Our software is also not meant to be doing what we're doing. We're constantly in sympathetic state, fight or flight. We're often eating in that state, sleeping in that state, and we turn to quick releases that also have cost, right, to those, and to kind of let go, which is we've talked quite a bit on the substance abuse piece of it. Like, I believe all plants and all things should be used for our good, but why do we then abuse them? Because that's a totally different story, right? It starts to mess around. It's because of our lifestyle. It's because of our lifestyle. That's why we do this podcast. When you can get control of how you make money, how you spend time, be knowledgeable enough to know what you should be doing with your body. Because whether you're like, oh, I'm not into that health stuff, or you're a health freak, you soon realize that you have to be educated just to participate in this world well. You have to decode what your financial advisor is telling you. You have to decode what your doctor is telling you. You have to decode what the experts are telling you, because there's a lot of motives everywhere, right? Even picking up, I'm doing a new challenge this year. I'll announce after the first 30 days. It's just a rule of mine, personal rule of mine. But let's say you're doing a food thing, you're cleaning up the way you eat. You soon realize that you may not be able to eat outside. Like you gotta cook most of your meals because you don't know what's in the food. You actually have no idea. I'm gonna be doing a lot of content this year on some of the myths, like around counting calories like calories in does not equals calorie out. Right. Let's just take that right there. So what do you mean? That's all I've heard for years. Oh, right. It doesn't, because we're skipping over a very obvious question. Well, are all calories the same? No, they're not. No, they're not. So right then and there, like you may have taken I've taken a whole course on nutrition, only to come out to be like, oh, guess what? This calorie thing is actually, there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it. You can't just eat Dunkin' Donuts 24/7 and be under your calorie count and think you're okay. No, bro. You're on your way to pre-diabetes, if not already diabetes, right? Come on now. So yeah, long-winded way of saying, man,
Lifestyle.
it really comes down to that: the lifestyle, the job, the more, right? You need to do more. The calendar almost never gets empty.
Right.
And I bet if we survey people, how many people, if they could push a button and just like opt out of their life, bounce out, would do it.
It's probably that same 94% that are stressed out at work. I think this is the issue, that we can stay on this. And in all honesty, this is actually, we're going to give you guys some ways to decrease it, right? We're going to give you 5 or 6 actual habits or things to actually pay attention to decrease the stress in your life. But I think if we just start here with lifestyle, I really think that's where it all starts. Most people are stressed because of the life that they're choosing to live. Again, I use those words, and I'm sure there's somebody in the comments or somebody listening that's like, I don't choose my life. I have these circumstances and I have to live here because my family this and I work here and that. But like, again, when you are in the process of designing the life that you want, right? When you are in search of the good life, the great life, you have a choice. And that is the first step, is understanding and being aware that you have a choice. You have a choice for the life that you live. You have a choice for the job that you take. You have a choice for the person you marry, or the amount of children you choose to have, or where you choose to live. It's a choice. And once you understand that you have a choice and you take full ownership, right? Go back to 50 episodes we've had on The Good Life, where we talk about ownership and just owning your life and owning your decisions and just standing firm in that part of it. That's when you can start to make some changes. That's when you say, you know what? I can change. It's not my circumstances, right? I can change something. And that's what we have to start paying attention to if we want to decrease stress in our lifestyle. It's learning that your lifestyle can change, and most likely it needs to change. That was one of the first things I was going to say, as far as a way to decrease the stress from a financial standpoint, is decrease your lifestyle. I know, easier said than done. I get it, right? Like we all like to live where we live, or right, drive what we drive, or stay in the place we want, or whatever the case is, because again, that's the lifestyle we're accustomed to. But if you want to decrease stress, if that becomes something important for you, you have to be willing to decrease your lifestyle. You have to be willing to take a couple steps back to take giant leaps forward. And that could come in many different areas, but specifically, if we're going to talk financially, take a look at those fixed expenses. Maybe this isn't the time to be a 2-car household with 2-car notes. Maybe this isn't the time to do that. Maybe we need to decrease the lifestyle a little bit. Maybe No, it sounds crazy, and I know the market, but like maybe we sell the house and go to something smaller. Maybe it's time to do that, especially if you feel overextended and this is a stressor for you, having high fixed expenses. Maybe we don't, and we've talked about this before, maybe we don't eat at the same places. Maybe we choose to live a simpler lifestyle when it comes to what we're consuming. These are just ways to say, you know what, this could potentially decrease my stress, is if I decrease my lifestyle, change the environment that I'm in and the things that I'm consuming. What's your take on that, man?
I think you hit it on, or spot on. Easier said than done. I think is the thing to highlight there.
Of course.
But I think a lot of people are also overcomplicating this a little bit, right? So you're battling I am battling my own inner demon when trying to make some of those very obvious changes. I remember somebody telling us, "Oh, you're moving to LA. You need another car." How do you know that?
Right.
First and foremost. Secondly, it's like that's just doing what we think we should be doing. Right. This is the job I should have. Right. I went to school for this, so I need to go do this, rather than doing the thing that maybe will give you a little bit more peace, a little bit more stability, and maybe a little bit more joy. Right. I always think back to the game. We both love this game, Cash Flow. And everybody's looking for the doctor or the engineer or the pilot or whatever.
I win with the janitor.
Give me the janitor. Give me the janitor.
I love it.
Right? He's the one, low expenses, comes in, knocks out the work, goes home, and starts a little business on the side.
That's right.
Right? A little stock investing. Right? A little bit of a consultant for the janitorial group, right? A little bit of mop teaching classes, right? And I think we really are checking our shoulds, right? Check your shoulds, or I must, right? Check those things. Oh man, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm in finance, so I need to look a particular way. I gotta get this $2,000, $5,000 suit. I need this watch, right? I'm a real estate agent. I don't make any money, but I need this watch, this car, and this $5,000 suit. God, I gotta look the part. All right,
lifestyle,
1,000%. And the one thing I was gonna give to compliment, since you've given one thing on the wealth side. On the health side, there's only, I simplify this to only 3 buckets, man. You got to put food by itself because it's a huge lever. Changing up the food for some people will be a lot harder than even like giving up substances or something like that. Because guess what? You don't need to smoke to live, but you need to eat. At some point in your life existence, you're going to eat, right? So that makes it really difficult for folks with the modern food environment that we live in. But we overcomplicate things. A lot of the things, and I think this is done on multiple levels. It's done by the so-called experts, by the nutritionists, by the other. It's done by, well, you have to have broccoli, and you have to. No, you don't. You actually don't. You actually don't, right? You don't need to have people, oh, I have to eat all these things to get me what I need. That's not right. That's not true. You need to eat the handful of things that give you what you need at a high quality consistently. So eat foods that give you life, that nourishes you. 3 things here: nourishes you at the cellular level, detoxes at the cellular level, and repairs at the cellular level. And if it doesn't do that, it's not food. Okay? Those Dorito chips, it's just not food. It doesn't do any of those 3 things, right? That extra helping of rice, it's not leading you down that path you're thinking. And you don't need a PhD to understand that stuff. I think it's actually pretty simple. And if you guys want to dive a lot deeper into that, we can obviously do more episodes, or you check out my page and we'll dive a lot deeper into that. But I want to simplify to eat food close to the sun, close to the earth, that very little, if anything, has been done to it, right? and gives you those three things.
Sure.
And that decreases your level of stress tremendously. It decreases the level of stress that your body has to go through to extract the nutrients, the stress your body has to go through to take out the trash or to detox the waste product. The energy that your body has to expend to deal with the thing that you're putting in lowers it tremendously. It lowers your level of stress, lowers your level of agitation, lowers your level of like being in a sympathetic state all the time, and right, adrenal fatigue all the time, right? And we can do so much of this with the food that we eat. So much of it. I'm not talking about living long. Like, let's forget that for now. How about living good?
Right.
How about like living like right now, feeling really good, right? And a lot of people, because we can do certain things that instantaneously give us that feel good feeling, but has a long back end that doesn't feel so great, we ignore the things that maybe have a front end of like, this is not, as I'm making these changes, it doesn't feel great on the front end, but it gives me a long feel good afterwards.
Right.
All right. And we forget that, which is easy to do. We're humans.
Don't overcomplicate this thing, guys. I think that was again the message. Don't overcomplicate this thing. Right? You don't have to have all the foods that you feel like you want to eat just to be able to live. Like, you can simplify your life. You can simplify your life. You can do this from a financial standpoint. You can do this from a food consumption standpoint, from a just all the areas. I firmly believe that if you look at taking steps back to simplify things in your lifestyle, it will dramatically decrease your stress level. Dramatically decrease your stress level. So just something to pay attention to. Decreasing that lifestyle, getting to a more simpler life. And again, like you said, easier said than done. Easier said than done. Trust me. Like, not necessarily going to be the easiest thing, but will it be worth it? Absolutely. Because all the things that stress does for your body and all the stuff that stress does for your mind. People with low levels of stress, whether it be, any stress, but specifically like financial stress, people with high levels are 7 times more likely to have severe anxiety. They're 6 times more likely to have severe depression, right? They're 3 times more likely to have migraines and headaches. 3 times more likely to have stomach ulcers. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, there's so much that stress does to your life that it's worth you getting the discipline, right? It's worth you getting the discipline to actually put these things in place. So that was just a couple of things right there of what some habits, some things you can do to pay attention to be aware, to decrease the stress in your life. I have another one because I was telling you this off camera right before we started. I was like, this is gonna sound like we're talking out of both sides of our mouth, right? Or at least for me, because I said, hey, have a simpler life, right? Like, and decrease your lifestyle. Here's the other thing financially that will actually decrease some stress. Go make more money. Like, go improve your lifestyle. It depends which side of the coin you're on, right? And again, some of you are overextended and you're just like, hey, if I just take a step back a bit, that'll help. And for some, it will. This is why blanket financial advice doesn't work, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is because it really depends who you're talking to. Because the other side of a way to decrease some stress is to go have more. If your expenses are already low, if you are the janitor in cash flow, right? And then you just started to save, bring in more income, created that side business, but never increased your lifestyle. And all of a sudden, now you go from making $5,000 a month with $3,000 in expenses to making $20,000 a month with $5,000 in expenses. Your life is better. You have less stress, right? Because some of the things that you want to make happen, you can now pay for. You can now get some of your time back. So both sides are true. Both sides are true to this from a financial standpoint. Some of you need to decrease the lifestyle and live a simpler life. Some of you need to go out and just say, you know what, I'm going to commit to building a business that brings me in more income and keep my lifestyle where it is right now, and my stress will decrease. I firmly believe that. And like I said, I know it's both sides of the coin, but you got to figure out which side you're on.
You say both sides of the coin, but it doesn't conflate, right? Spend one is spend less money, the other is be more productive.
Yeah.
Right, be more productive in the sense like you produce more, produce better, and get people value. You're rewarded with that, in at least in ideal economic environment. That's another conversation. You're
Definitely.
rewarded with a higher income. So and we'll talk about this. I think this is something we really got to dive into the nitty gritties this year, because to your point, you can't give blanket advice. You can give blanket principles, but maybe not blanket advice on the health side of things. So one thing we're doing before I give my second piece here, which you could probably already predict, but one thing we're looking forward to doing here is to deal with some real life examples, and we're going to be doing that in the Facebook group that you should definitely make sure you join. We'll get the info out to you here. It'll be in the chat. It's also at the bottom of the screen here. Make sure you join that Facebook group, and you can share with us your specifics. So a lot of people have specifics, right? But I live in Alaska. There's no fruits here. All right. Okay, fair enough. Bring your hard specifics. Let's talk, and let's give you a plan of action.
That's right.
On the money side, on the health side, because we want you to have both, right? We want you to control your source of income, make more money, and increase your quality of life. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend more. And then we want you to actually have the health to actually enjoy. And nothing worse than getting a bunch of money when you can't move or can't breathe correctly or whatever.
That's right. That's right. And again, that's where we're holding this. This was a great conversation that could be in our head, that like, hey, we want to start getting people specifics. We want to start helping you out specifically. Say like, I get it, because we get this a lot on our side, right? From the health coaching side on Kabi, financial coaching on my side, we get but my situation's different, right? I get it. That makes sense. But my situation, this doesn't work. And so we want to show you how you can make it work, and how you can make it work in both the health and wealth side of things. So again, we're doing that in our Facebook group. Feel free to join the group, dive in. We're going to get this stuff started really, really soon for you, but we want to make sure that we're helping you specifically with the issues that you're having, and really just getting the information and a plan in place to be able to do it. So
yeah, fantastic. I'm super excited for that, man. It's something
dope.
I want to get hands on with. So first, health side, eat better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we talked about the details as what that looks like, and then move better. Right. So it sounds like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, great advice, right? But let's break that down a little bit. Well, let's say that you know for a fact that you haven't been moving at all. You're moving to your bed, to your office chair, back to your dining room table, back to your bed. Like, okay, well, moving better for you means move more, right? Maybe that's just where you start. But let's say maybe you're already moving quite a bit. You have a job that moves. You're on your feet all day, so you walk all the time. Okay, well, maybe for you that means that increasing your level of strength so that you can maintain the bone density. You can maintain the muscles, the strength in your muscles. You can maintain your posture, right? You can maintain those things for a long period of time as you age. Maybe for you, you're already working out and you're already doing those things. Okay, maybe you train better. Right? You train better to avoid injury. You train better to move more efficiently. You train better so that you can breathe better and perform at a higher level. You train better so that you look better and can earn more money, because we know attractive people get paid a lot more, right? So there's wherever you are, there is a better. I guarantee it. Right? Wherever you are, there is a better. So eat better, move better. And I get my third one is lifestyle. Now, okay, what do I mean by that? I created something I call the scoreboard. All right. And on that scoreboard, there's a ton of activities that we know, and we'll share this in the group, in the Facebook group. So, you may or may not want to hop into the Facebook group to grab that. I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to you. You get to decide. You're the master of your life. Okay. You get to decide. I'm going to just lay the carrot right here and you pick it up or you don't pick it up. Maybe you prefer pickles. I don't know. Right. So we'll do that too. Back to my point here. Scorecard, lifestyle. There's a list of about 20, 25 different activities that have been proven over the years to increase the quality of your life if we do them and we do them consistently. That's what that scorecard is. Daily scorecard of like, am I doing these things? All right. Am I reducing my exposure to blue light in favor of red light during at nighttime so I can sleep a little bit better? I have a morning routine, I have an evening routine. Am I properly hydrated? Right. These are lifestyle things that we tend to kind of forget about when things go awry. So when you have a simple list of things, it's like, well, I didn't do these things. Let me try to get them in more consistently in my life and fidget around with things. Significantly reduces stress. You can literally feel it, right? Coming out of let's say like a juice feast or something like that, where you've been focused on the scorecard for a while. And then if you are able to take that, or those who are able to take that into their normal life, right, where they are paying attention to these activities, they just function better. And there's two sides again, right? There's lowering your level of stress, and then there's increasing your ability to deal with more stress and not be in fight or flight.
That's good.
Two different things.
That's good.
Right. Two different things. And we got to pay attention to both sides, right? Lowering your level of stress and then increasing your ability to deal with more stress without having your body go into fight, freeze, or flight, actually, is what it is. It's fight, freeze, or flight. All right. Very important. And why is this so important? Because the chemicals that are releasing that in that state are great for us if we're actually in danger. Most of the time, we're not. Most of the time, it's just your boss asking you to turn in that project that you have been procrastinating on, and then you start losing your hair. Okay?
Right. That's it. But that's such a good point, man. That's such a good point that one side is decreasing the stress. The other side is gaining the capacity to handle more, right? Or to be able to have the energy to handle more. And I'm a big believer in that side, right? I do a morning mindset call. We've talked about it here and there, but I do a morning mindset call twice a week, about to go to 3 times a week, where that's really the premise of this, right? I often say in that call, life doesn't get easier. We just get stronger or not, right? That's it. Life doesn't get easier. We just get stronger or not. Like you either, like the stress doesn't necessarily always go away. There's some things that you can clearly do to decrease it, but it's not going to go away. That it's really just a matter of, are you getting better to be able to handle it? Or is your energy increasing? Are you doing the right things in order to be able to handle more of what is going to come your direction? That scorecard, by the way, again, from personal usage, like it's an amazing scorecard. I highly recommend people that are listening, like hit up Khabib for that scorecard. Are you just giving it to people, or is it in your book, or like where
it's in the book? It's in the book, which will be coming out this year. But we're also pulling out the scorecard itself and creating a PDF specifically for those that hop into the Facebook group. That's the Good Life Facebook group. Those are just for those members in there, because you know what I'm saying, we want to give you a little something special.
Something special.
Ooh.
We treat you good over there. We treat you good.
We do. So yeah, hop in there, and all you got to do in the group is just message me, tag me, do something in the group, and we'll definitely get that out to you. And that's a special copy that we're making for that group alone. That's awesome.
Because it's so worth it. Every time I've done a juice feast or some form of a challenge with Khabib here, that scorecard we always come back to. Everyone that's always in the group is like, man, this is it. Just looking at this every day and seeing exactly what I need to do, or what I maybe have missed on doing if I wasn't in the challenge, right? Basic things. That's right. And that's really, a powerful tool. So those are the types of things that will help. that will
Yeah.
help you continue to kind of elevate yourself to that level where you can handle more.
That's right. That's right. And I'm gonna put this out here right now, before I even spoken to Himbo. But if we get enough people to either at me, join the group, or something, let me know that you want this. We're gonna turn that scorecard into a fridge magnet for you.
Ooh.
Put it on your fridge. You know, out of my own pocket, out of my own movement here. We're gonna get you guys that, because this year we're dropping value.
We
For
need
real,
that.
like
We
we're
need that.
dropping value for real. But we need you guys to come in and tell us what you need, because you don't need it. You know, I'd rather take my wife out for some ice cream or something. You know, something nice. You know, so if you
We
want
need
that,
it.
let
We
me
need
know.
it. We need it, bro. We need it. The people need
Comment.
it.
Let me know.
But for sure, jump in the Facebook group, because that's where you're going to be getting that access. And man, that would be an amazing idea to have it as a magnet, something that is a constant reminder that you can check off. Because again, it's super beneficial. So give me those three things again. Movement, eating.
First, the biggest lever I believe is people to eat better.
Got it.
Eat better. And of course I say better because that can be different based on where you're starting off from, right? And what are your toxins, you know, what are the toxins in your system? What are the deficiencies that you might be missing to? What are some of the symptoms that you're experiencing? That's a one-on-one conversation that we can have. And I'm more than happy to do this. I'm offering like 10-15 minutes of my time. Anybody that wants to sit down and just chat about where they are with their health and how to move forward and point them in the right direction. So what does better mean for you? More than happy to do that. Again, you got to let me know. Get in that group and let me know. Move better based on where you are. There's a lot that happens with movement. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. You know, for a quick example, I think one of the biggest ways we can avoid different pains and such in our body is by moving better, not necessarily just more, but moving, as my friend Eric Duvey would say, moving mindfully, right? Being aware of the movement, being aware of where our body is in space, being aware of how we are moving our joints, right? And increasing what is called synovial fluid. It's like oil for the human skeleton, right? It's like putting little oils in a joint to lubricate our joints so that we're not grinding at our freaking cartilage. All right. And next thing we know, we got to get a double hip replacement. Okay. So, you know, it's those type of things. Move better, eat better, move better, and just check your lifestyle. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you can cross-reference that with the scorecard. You know, maybe there's probably a lot on there you're already doing, and then you might get some ideas as to how to elevate, you know, again, vitality, your longevity, your aesthetics, how you look, right? It is important. And then your energy, your performance, right? Which is, you know, probably more important, but, you know, we'll take all four of those.
Absolutely. Those are incredible. On the financial side, that lifestyle piece we were just talking about, that goes hand in hand, right? And looking at your lifestyle from what are you doing that's giving you energy, that's adding to you. But again, from a financial standpoint, looking at decreasing your lifestyle, decreasing your expenses, decreasing where you are spending money and how much of it you are spending will definitely will be one of the habits to work on to decrease your stress, right? Making sure that you're paying attention to that. The other side of that, like I just talked about, is possibly increasing your income, increasing your cash flow, having more discretionary income, starting the business, earning more, keeping your expenses and your lifestyle where it is or decreasing it a bit, but then going out and bringing in more will also be a major decrease in your stress level. It'll bring you more peace because you can do more things with the money that maybe you couldn't do while you're just working a ton of hours and don't have the time freedom to be able to do it. So you got to make sure that you're doing those things. Lastly, this one I didn't really mention yet, but you got to have a plan for your money. Having a plan for anything gives you more control over it, which inevitably decreases stress, right? It's just kind of the way that it works. If you are with a plan for what you want your money to do, where you want it to go, how it's going to be spent, how it's coming in, the investments that you have, the strategy of paying off debt. If you just have a plan for it, you feel better about where you're headed, even if you're not where you want to be. Even if you're not where you want to be, as long as you have a plan for it, it will help decrease the stress. So get a plan in place. Get a plan in place, right? Put something down on paper. Sit down with your significant other. Sit down with just yourself and take that hour to 2 hours and look at your money. Find out where it's going, then put a plan in place for what you want to make happen with it. This will significantly, again, decrease the stress that you have, because the other side is true. The other side is true. If you don't have a plan for your money, it will always be stressful. If you don't know what's coming in, what's going out, where it's flowing to, what you want to make happen, naturally that'll keep you in a place of stress. Are you working enough hours? Do you bring in enough? How high, like, how, should I, is this the right car for me? Is this the right house? You would just have no idea. And that keeps you in a perpetual state of stress. So we change that by getting a solid plan in place. So those are the three things on my side, on the wealth side of things, that I think you can focus on to really make sure you're decreasing that stress. And then lastly, this is kind of one of the things that I told Khabib, like, hey, this kind of works for both of us, or right, all fronts, but you need a coach. We've said this before on the show, in case you didn't know, right? Like, we've said this before, but you need someone to help you guide through these types of things. You need help. You need to talk to someone. You need to just be able to articulate where you are and what you need help with. And you need some guidance. You need someone that sees blind spots and says, hey, instead of going this way, let's try it this way and let's see what the results are. You got to have somebody guiding you down the path. Don't try to fight your health or wealth journey by yourself. It will become more and more stressful, especially if you don't have the information, don't have the discipline, whatever you're lacking, right? It'll become more stressful if you do it by yourself. That stress is taken away when you have somebody working with you, when you have guidance. So that kind of goes for both of us.
That's right. That's right. I think it's one of the easiest, let's say, shortcuts that a lot of people could use. All right. Which is just getting somebody that has the blueprint and can take some of that cognitive load off of you. So you can go ahead and execute in the areas that you want to execute. Guys, that's it for us today. We don't want to overload you with too much here. Just take action on the things that we've stated. If you need help, you can reach out to Chris. You can reach out to myself. We have our handle right there. You're watching it somewhere. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you leave us a review, even if it's just a thumbs up, right? If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, leave us a review of some sort of comment. We would greatly appreciate that. If you're on Instagram, we appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Keep coming back. We'll have more stuff for you this year. And then make sure you join that Facebook group, because we are really focused on dropping a lot of value in that group and creating a community of people that are really out to do something. All right. They're out to increase their health. They're out to increase their wealth, and they want to live a good life. And they may even want to live a great life. And for these two things cannot be missing from a good or great life: your health and your wealth. Appreciate you guys.
That's right. Until next time.
Peace.
Later, y'all.
Welcome to the good life.